The carry is the hardest hitting basic attack hero within Paragon. Knowing how to properly rotate, farm, and position yourself to become the threat you need to be is key. And in this guide, we're going to go over a few tips and tricks to make sure that happens. Welcome to Pirate Class 105, Improve Your Carry. ADC stands for Attack Damage Carry. Now the idea behind being called the carry is you need to be carried in the beginning of the game. You are very, very weak and you can take quite a bit of damage and you can't dish out a whole lot. But in game, the carry is one of the hardest hitting heroes with maybe some decent sustain, but they're just absolutely able to shred the enemy team. And this is really key to know so you can kind of perform, the correct way. So as the carry in the beginning of the game, you want to play very safe. Stay close to your towers, stay close to your support, just remain at a safe distance from the enemy, always have an easy escape route, and try to avoid taking as much damage as you can. Farm is the #1 job of the carry. Securing last hits on anything, whether it's towers, heroes, or minions. Getting farm and keeping your farm up is absolutely huge. And there are a few ways to make your job safer when farming. Now, in the early stages of the game, you're not going to be going for kills near as much or securing objectives like Fangtooth and Prime. Your main job is to stay in your lane and get as much minion farm as possible. And this also means you don't really want to rotate near as much in those early stages of the game. So really, until your T1 is down, or the enemy T1 on the duo side is down, you kind of want to stay in your lane and farm. Now, one way you can farm safe is by not pushing the lane. If you see here, I'm only shooting enemy minions when they turn red. And this is allowing me to pick up those last hits while pushing the wave towards my tower. So I'm going to stay safe at my tower while the enemy are very overextended. You can see the enemy team is pushed up almost all the way to my tower, and this is going to allow my jungler to rotate and maybe even get a kill. We can go in and poke every once in a while, but we mainly want to stay pushed to our tower and secure those last hits as much as possible. Now you can see here at 3 minutes, the lane has been reset. My minions actually did more damage than the enemy minions with the assist of my tower, and that lane is going to naturally be set in the middle of the lane. But since we have more minions than the enemy team does, my lane is going to naturally push unless the enemy team starts shoving that lane. Next up, we have pushing the lane during laning phase. Now if you see here, this enemy steal goes in and we're able to chip him down quite a bit, and we get enough damage on him and he's out of mana, so he's kind of useless. So he's going to go ahead and back. Now is the time to push this lane, guys. We're going to concentrate on the enemy ADC as much as possible, but we really want to force this lane in, or force this wave into this tower to start getting damage on the tower. You see, we have a siege minion in here, and this is going to allow us to do quite a bit of damage, but we need to play safe. We still can't just, fully stay under tower, and once the enemy steal shows back up, we need to back off because he's going to come back fresh and probably at an advantage since he was able to maybe put on some cards. So pushing that lane when enemies are missing or backed is huge, and if you're actually able to see them back, that's when you want to push because you've got 20 to 30 seconds to actually push that lane without them being there. Now, don't forget you are a carry, so don't challenge enemies at the early stages of the game because they definitely will kill you. You can see here, we challenged this Aurora and Zinx combo, and they just deleted us. At stage 1 or level 1 in the game, just, a couple points in, we stood absolutely no chance there. So don't challenge enemies because most of the time they're going to kill you. You are the carry, so play that role. Play very safe, allow your support to help you out until you get enough cards, get that power spike on, things like that. Then you can start challenging. But until that point, stay safe. Knowing when to back is also key in these first few minutes of the game. You can see at 7.5 minutes in, I have not headed back to base yet. And I've done a pretty decent job of farming so far. You know, I'm at 8 points now, which, you know, that's pretty decent with 54 minion farm. And since I was able to shove that lane into the enemy tower, now I have a safe time to back. You can see I do have a minion wave following that wave up, and by the time I get back to lane, I will probably have another minion wave heading that way. So the enemy team's going to have to deal with 2 minion waves before they're going to get into my tower. Not only is this key to note, but I will be able to get back to lane before they really start getting damage on my tower. If I would have backed with that minion wave halfway in my lane, I wouldn't have been able to get back to my tower before, you know, the minions started hitting that lane. And you can see me and FaZe were actually able to go in on this Wraith a little bit and get a little damage done to him. So being able to back, you know, I was able to put on a big power spike that's Wraith was not expecting. We're able to, you know, get quite a bit of damage on him and avoid all damage to our tower. So guys, picking that right time to back is absolutely huge. The ADC is all in all a glass cannon, but you're not quite a cannon at the beginning of the game, so having map awareness is huge. Now the enemy support and the mid laner are missing in this clip, and you know, me and my support should know something's up, and sure enough, the mid laner and support show up behind me. I'm completely out of mana, and I'm not going to be able to do anything to stop this. And not only that, but my support didn't realize that we were being ganked either, so he did not offer near as much peel, even though he wouldn't have been able to stop my death. But that does not matter. We could have simply avoided that just by having a little map awareness. So paying attention to the minimap, knowing where the enemy is huge for the ADC in the early stages of the game, if not throughout the entire game. The next up in the laning phase is downing towers. Now, often when you're able to down a tower, it is because you were able to take out the enemy hero or force them to back. And that's exactly what we're able to do in this clip. You can see we're able to just get tons of damage onto this steal. We end up taking him out, and then we have our Kai dive this Murdoch a little bit. We're able to take out the combo of, you know, just the support and ADC, and this is absolutely huge. Now, their Gideon does show up, so we have to be careful. We want to shove this lane into tower, and then that's going to allow us to actually focus onto the tower. And guys, when you're at this point, focus the tower. Don't worry about the enemy hero. Focus the tower, and then you'll be able to take out the hero. And sure enough, we're able to get quite a bit of damage on him, and our Countess is able to finish that Gideon off. But if we would have focused on that Gideon the entire time, we might not have got that tower because, you know, the enemy team might have showed back up and been able to rotate and take us out or prevent us from downing the tower. So, when you are under tower and it's very low, just focus the tower, guys. If you're able to take that out, that's absolutely huge. Now, once you down a tower, turn and run, guys. Doesn't really matter where you run. Run in the safest direction as possible. You know, our Zinks just came from that river, so I knew it was relatively safe, and I'm going to head to mid lane now. But you can head to Fangtooth, you can head just back to lane, or, you know, back to your tower. You can actually run, secure gold, port back to base, and then run back to lane for that counter push. But you do have a counter push coming, guys. They will push that lane back to your tower, so don't run too far. But you can make a simple rotation. And if you see here, we head to mid lane, and me and Zinks are actually able to down this T1 in mid just from this very, very simple rotation. But again, we have to get back to our lane once we kind of get this lane set going in the right direction. We have to get back to our lane because there is a counter push coming. So again, rotate or go back to base, it doesn't really matter. Just stop pushing the lane. Once you down the tower, the enemy team will show up to deal with you because you are a threat. So, turn and run, especially if you don't have a support. Now again, you can see in this match, we're able to down that duo lane tower, and I'm going to turn around and I run back towards my tower, and then me and my support decide, hey, let's go get Fangtooth, and sure enough, we're going to head to Fangtooth and actually take this out. And these are the type of objectives that you can do, the plays that you can make after you're able to down that tower. Because the enemy team is going to have to deal with your push. They can't just let it freely roam because, you know, it'll go back to their T1. That's the farm that the ADC needs. And as well as, you know, hey, you've dedicated those two heroes to deal with that lane. This is a perfect time to pick up something like Fangtooth. Although it doesn't always work out and you do need some team rotation, this is a very good time to pick up Fang shortly after that T1 goes down. Positioning yourself behind your front line is also key. You can see in this clip, we're able to position ourselves behind our big damage dealer or damage absorbing heroes. And although our Richter went down, we were able to do pretty significant damage to that Grux. And then our Bellica goes down. We're able to follow that kill up. And then Steel comes in, and you can see I'm going to run away from Steel, back up, and allow my team to be in the front of this fight while I'm staying at a distance so I can avoid quite a bit of damage. And you see, we were able to turn that fight into a 4-man kill. And that's absolutely huge, guys. Taking advantage of positioning is one of the key points to playing an ADC. As the biggest damage dealer in the game, or basic damage anyways, you always want to be there when a fight breaks out. You can see in this clip, we're able to take out this crunch, and then I see my team is still staying engaged on Revenant. So we're going to follow our team and help out in any way that we can. Now their Revenant is very low, so I'm going to take Revenant out, and then we can turn around and concentrate on Steel. And me staying engaged on that fight is the reason we were able to take out that Revenant. You know, Steel was blocking our Terra and our Gideon. They might not have been able to take him out, but I could. So, staying engaged when you can is huge. You want to do a combination of that positioning, but staying engaged. And I've got a clip for that as well. Now, as you can see, we're in that solo lane, and we've got a pretty big team collapse. And I'm going to stay behind my front line. Even though I do get stunned there, I'm going to stay behind my front line. I want my front line, my Steel, my Richter to be in the front. I'm going to stay behind them, allow them to absorb that damage, and I'm just going to pump out as much damage as I can. And you see, we pick up a real easy triple kill. And then Wraith's, you know, he heads out, and I'm going to stay engaged on him, and I'm actually able to take him out invis. So staying engaged on fights is huge, guys. And, you know, although I am the ADC, once you start getting fed, you can really crank out that damage. And if you do have some sort of sustain, like lifesteal, you know, hey, you can heal right back up. Staying engaged, but picking that engagement and picking the right positioning is huge. If I would have went after that Wraith at the beginning, we would have definitely lost that fight. But since I waited till we were able to take out those front lines, we were able to take out Countess, that made Wraith just a very easy target, even though he was invis. Last up is side objectives. Now, we talked about Fang a little bit, but Prime as well. The ADC is the most important hero when it comes to taking these objectives, because he can take these objectives ridiculously fast. You need to be the guy that says, let's attack this target, ping attack Fangtooth, and then show up to take it out. If you're going to show up after that fight's already started, you know, you're risking your team not being able to pick it up fast enough, it getting stolen, something like that. Or, you know, you're risking yourself by your entire team focusing on the objective and you're solo in a lane. You need to stay with your team, and you really need to be the guy that chooses when you engage on those type of things. Simply use that pinging system, or if you're in comms, say, hey guys, let's go for this objective. I am ready and I'm going to be there. I talk about picking up Fang and Prime and when to go for those side objectives in my Paragon 101 guide, so I would highly recommend checking that out if you're not, fully aware of when to pick those up. But you can see again, we've got 2 enemies down. It's time to pick up Fang. I'm gonna ping attack Fangtooth, head over there, and my team hopefully collapses and we're able to take it out. Now, all I need is 1 hero. We've got our Richter here, and then our, I believe that's our jungler, shows up to help out secure this objective. And that's huge, guys. That all I need is a couple of people, because I'm not strong enough to not only be able to take it out, but to survive the Fangtooth damage. If I just have 1 hero there, I can do, I can take it out no problem. I have a ton of damage. It's the surviving that's key. So, as the ADC, showing up to those fights is absolutely huge. But you also need to make sure you're there early. You want to be there to help secure that as fast as possible. In-game for the ADC is all about damage, guys. So make sure to have those high damage cards on, and you will definitely be able to take down objectives just very, very quickly, and even take out heroes quickly, as long as you're building that high damage. And as an ADC, you should be building high damage. Now, if you see, we're able to take down this T2. We didn't quite shut that Terra down, but that's alright. But we push into the inhib, and we're able to take this inhib as well. We're going to then just back up and go head elsewhere, because, there's really no reason to stay there. We kind of did a little damage to the minions, but hey, get out. And then rotate to the team so we can help, kill enemies. Because as the ADC, our job is to show up to those team fights and make sure we're securing kills, or make sure we're securing those objectives. Well, that's going to wrap it up for my 105 Pirate School Guide, how to become a better ADC, and I really hope it helped, guys. If there's anything I need to clarify, or if you'd like me to just kind of talk about some things in more depth, definitely get in touch with me, guys. Let me know down in the comments, or jump on Discord. I'll be more than happy to jump into a private match with y'all. We do private matches every Sunday as well, so, we might be able to do a Pirate School private match if that's something you would be interested in, where we go in and try to create situations and learn from them. I've done that a couple of times before. It's not been as successful as I'd like, but if we've got more people that would like to do something like that, it would work a lot better. But definitely let me know if y'all did enjoy this, guys, and if you did enjoy, show me some love. Leave me a comment, think about subscribing, join our Discord. I'd love to play with some of y'all, and as always, guys, I'll see y'all in the next video.